Welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how I made this floral centerpiece. So I got this tin bucket. It's a wall hanging at Hobby Lobby, and then I've got styrofoam and some assorted flowers. I may not use all of these. I just like to get too much rather than too little. And I'm just putting that in the bucket to see how it fits and where I need to cut it off at. So I just cut off the corners, and my original plan was to attach some along the side there, the front side. And this is floral clay, by the way. It will make the styrofoam stick to that tin. So that's why I have the styrofoam sticking out that far, because I had that original plan to stick flowers coming out and draping down. After I got it started, I decided I did not like that look, so I'll show you how I fixed that. You need a good pair of cutters when working with faux flowers, because you're going to have to cut off all those wire stems, and I'm cutting off about 3 on each one of these. I think that's a good place to start. If you need more, then you cut more. If you don't use them all, that's fine too. I've got several. I don't even know how many I have here. It's a bunch. I like to have a variety. So here I am doing some draping down. That's where I started from. Just fast forwarding this so you guys see what it looks like, and now I'm going to start attaching them on the top. Now remember, this is going to hang on the wall since it's got that hanger and it's flat, so you don't have to worry about the back side. You just want to worry about the front and the sides, how it's going to look. And so I like to have this propped up exactly how it's going to hang. That way I can tell how it's going to look when it's hung up on the wall. And there's how I attach those. Just attaching these all over the styrofoam, I'm not grouping them together. I'm spreading them out. So one kind of in the center, one off to the left, one off to the right. And I usually do the center ones a little bit taller and the ones on the sides and front a little bit shorter. And I always do this. I always start my floral arrangements on my good mat, and then I start dropping hot glue everywhere and realize what I'm doing. So I got out this old mat. A lot of times I'll just use cardboard or chipboard or something to sit it on, because you do drip a lot of hot glue when you're working with stuff like this. And so if you don't want to have to scrape all that off afterwards, then use some chipboard or cardboard or something. I just grabbed that old mat. That works fine too. So I just cut those as long as I need them. I put some hot glue on the end of the stems. That's going to make it stay in the styrofoam. It's going to keep it from being able to fall out or easily be removed. So if you want a permanent centerpiece, then you need to put the hot glue on the bottom of these. And the little hot glue pots really work best if you're doing floral arrangements. I just don't want to mess with one of those, and I don't want to put one more thing on my table, so I just use my glue gun. It works fine. But it is easier to just dip the stems into the hot glue pots if you have one, or if you want to get one. But like I said, I just don't want to mess with one right now. I may get one eventually, but it's just not something I need right now. Now here's where I yank all those out, because I am not liking the way they look, and then I'm realizing I'm going to have to add a whole bunch more to cover up the front styrofoam as well, so I don't want to deal with that. I like to use Spanish moss if I need to cover any styrofoam. That's my favorite, but that was still a lot of area to cover. So after I get the top pretty much done, I'm going to pull that out. And you kind of have to yank on it, because that floral clay was really starting to stick. And I'm just going to cut this down so it fits all the way into that tin bucket. So I'm cutting a big chunk of that. That's a serrated knife. I don't know if you could see that in the picture earlier. That works best for, so a steak knife, any old steak knife works great for cutting styrofoam. And you want to make sure you put that clay where it's going to actually touch the tin bucket. So put that back in there, press down really good so it sticks, and that's perfect. I'm not going to have to worry about covering up any of that styrofoam. So I still have a few more pieces to stick in there. But like I said, if you can see any styrofoam, I like to use Spanish moss. I think it works the best. You just have to kind of push it in there. You don't have to worry about gluing it down or anything. These are the prettiest little roses. I don't know if you can see, but they kind of look like they have dew on them, and they're realistic looking. Some of these flowers came from Hobby Lobby, some came from a wholesaler. They're really all really good quality faux flowers or silk flowers, whatever you want to call them. And I'm just attaching a few of those throughout. They're in groupings of 3 on each stem. I thought they turned out really pretty. Next, I'm going to make a bow. So first I'm laying this out here just to see how long I want to make those tails. And then I'm going to cut a V shape at the bottom of this just to give it a pretty end. And that's about 10 inches for the tail. And I don't like to cut those welcomes in half, especially on the tails. I like to see the whole welcome, so you can see the whole welcome. I'm making these loops 10 inches as well, and you want to go back and forth when you make your loops. So I started with the tail on one side, I make a loop on the opposite side, and the next loop is on the same side as the tail. And before you make each loop, you want to twist that ribbon. And I'm kind of over exaggerating the twist so you guys can really see that. And just keep working back and forth. And I like to measure out that 10 inches just to keep those loops nice and even. And I'm going to do a total of 6 loops and 2 tails, so 3 loops on each side. And I'm going to grab me a little zip tie and just attach that right in the center of the bow. Pull it really tight. The tighter you can get the center of the bow, I think the better your bow looks. So I'm not really measuring this second tail out. I'm just cutting between the 2 welcomes. Like I said, I don't like to cut into the welcome unless you absolutely have to. So I'm just straightening out my loops, kind of fluffing them up, and then all those on the left side or the upper side, the welcomes are all upside down, so just give those loops a twist. And so all your welcomes are now right side up instead of upside down. And now for the second ribbon, this is a 1.5 inch width, so it's a smaller ribbon, but I want to make smaller loops, smaller tails to put on top of the welcome, so I don't want to cover up the welcome. So these are 8 inches. I started the first tail 8 inches, and all the loops are going to be 8 inches as well. Again, a zip tie in the center, and I think I did the same amount of, the same amount of loops. And now I'm going to attach them together with another zip tie. The sucker is going to be nice and secure. It's not going to come apart. So I like the yellow with it, brought out the yellow and the flowers, and then it really made the black and white welcome ribbon really pop. And then I'm just cutting that one as long as I want it. So I didn't even measure those. I don't like my tails to be real even usually. I like them to be different lengths. Now I'm taking a chenille stem and wrapping it around the center so I can attach it to something. If there was something on the tin that I could tie it to, I would just tie it, but I can't. There's nothing to tie it to, so I'm using this floral pin. So I'm wrapping the chenille stem really well around the floral pin. Just keep wrapping it around as much as you can. Then I'm going to cut off the end there, and I'm adding some hot glue to the very tips of that floral pin, so again it won't come out of the styrofoam. And then you just have to push it into the styrofoam. It can be a little difficult. Just try to push it in as good as you can, and then it'll stick to the styrofoam. That hot glue will set, and you won't have to worry about it falling out. Now I'm just going to fluff up my loops, move them around, and then I'm doing my tails like this. That really gives the tails a nice curve. I saw that from another YouTuber, but I'm sorry, I cannot remember who it was, or I'd give them a shout out. I apologize for that. Here it is finished. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up.
You can subscribe to my channel right here. Here is one of my recent uploads. I think you will enjoy that. Here is a playlist full of great videos. Here is another video you might enjoy. Click on any of those and it'll take you right to them. Please consider subscribing, and don't forget to tap that bell for notifications on my uploads, live streams, and premieres. And happy crafting, happy mom making, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day, and be kind to others and be kind to yourself.